All right, today we are going to dive into the science behind something that's, well, pretty fundamental to being human, but often doesn't get talked about enough, our sexual health. And we're going to explore how it's not just some bonus feature in life, but actually a really powerful sign of our overall health.
We all know the big three, right? The holy trinity of health: what you eat, how much you move, and how well you sleep. We count our steps, we track our macros, we obsess over getting those 8 hours. But what if there's a fourth pillar? An equally crucial one that most of us are completely overlooking. That's exactly what we're going to get into. So, first things first, let's get on the same page about what we even mean by sexual health. The World Health Organization has this incredibly powerful definition. It's not just about the absence of problems. It's about a complete state of well-being: physical, emotional, mental, and social. It's a much bigger, more holistic picture than we usually think. Okay, let's start with a really powerful idea that our sexual well-being isn't just a side effect of good health, it's a core component. In fact, you could even think of it as a vital sign. Here's a fantastic way to frame this. Think of your sexual wellness as a canary in the coal mine. It's not happening in a vacuum. It's deeply tied into your hormones, your cardiovascular system, your mental state, the whole shebang. So if something feels off in that department, it can be one of the very first signals that another part of your health needs a little attention. Now let's zoom in on one of the most powerful connections there is: the link between a satisfying sex life and our mental and emotional health. Do you ever just feel like things are happening to you? Like you're not really in the driver's seat? That feeling of events being beyond your control is a huge part of modern stress. And this survey gives us a little snapshot of just how common that feeling really is. And when you actually break down the numbers, it's kind of staggering. If you add up sometimes, often, and very often, you get 70%. 70. That means the vast majority of people are wrestling with this feeling of being out of control on a regular basis. That's a lot of stress. So, how do we push back against that? Well, this piece of research points to a really powerful tool we all have. It says that sexual satisfaction isn't just for fun. It actively makes us better at coping with stress. It literally reduces anxiety and boosts our overall mental health. It's like nature's built-in reset button. And the positive effects just keep rolling from there. The research is pretty clear. High sexual satisfaction is connected to a whole host of good things for your brain. We're talking better stress management, sure, but also a boost in self-confidence, deeper emotional connections, and just a general state of mental calm. It's a serious toolkit for a healthier mind. But okay, this isn't all just in our heads. The connection between a healthy sex life and a healthy body is surprisingly direct, and some of the data even suggests it could help us live longer. Just look at this number for a second. A huge study, over 15,000 adults, found that people having sex at least once a week had a nearly 50% lower risk of death from any cause. Now, of course, this doesn't mean sex is some magic longevity potion, but it's a massive indicator that it's part of a bigger picture of a body that's functioning really, really well. So what is actually happening inside our bodies? Well, the science points to a few really cool things. Regular sexual activity can boost the production of immunoglobulins. Think of these as your body's personal security guards fighting off germs. It also helps keep inflammation in check and even makes your blood and saliva better at taking out pathogens. It's like a full system tune-up. And listen, these benefits are not just for 20-somethings. In fact, they might become even more critical as we get older. For postmenopausal women, for example, research shows that sexual activity can support heart health, basically making it stronger and more resilient when life throws physical or emotional stress its way. And that brings us to a really important topic: aging. There's this stubborn myth that our sexuality just kind of fades away. But the science, it tells a completely different story. We've all heard it, right? This idea that sexuality has an expiration date, that it's a thing for the young, and as we get older, that part of us just shuts down. But is that actually true? Not even close. The data absolutely shatters this myth. Check this out. A big survey in Italy found that nearly 3/4 of people between 61 and 70 years old were sexually active, and it was still almost 40% for folks over 70. Clearly, the desire for intimacy is a lifelong thing. This study on older men shows a super clear link between sexual health and just overall happiness. If you look at that first row, there's a real statistically significant connection between good erectile function and a higher quality of life. And then look at the second row. There's an even stronger connection between depressive symptoms and a lower quality of life. They're really two sides of the same coin. And this quote from the Journal of Men's Health just sums it all up perfectly. Being happy, feeling at peace, and having an active sexual life, they all work together to make our later years so much better. It's about the whole picture of well-being.
So, when you pull all this evidence together, from psychology, from immunology, from aging studies, it becomes pretty obvious that we need to start thinking about health in a new way. The science really is crystal clear. Sexual well-being isn't a luxury item. It's essential. It's tied directly to our mental health and how we handle stress. It's correlated with a stronger immune system and a healthier heart, and it boosts our quality of life at literally every age. So that leaves us with one last big question. If we start treating our sexual well-being with the same respect we give to diet, exercise, and sleep, if we really see it as a vital sign for our overall health, what is that vital sign telling you about your own life right now?